Good morning. In this session, we are discussing the few concepts of operational amplifiers. So, coming to the operational amplifiers, we are just discussing few concepts in this session. We know that an operational amplifier is abbreviated as op-amp. Op-amp, the full form of op-amp is the operational amplifier. It is a multi-stage, high-gain integrated circuit having two input terminals and one output terminal. The two input terminals are having high impedance and one output terminal is having low impedance. Such an op-amp is a voltage amplifier that amplifies the input voltage, that increases the strength of the input weak signal, and therefore it is said to have the extremely high gain. Gain is the ratio of output voltage to the input voltage. Since it has been amplified, the strength has been increased and therefore the gain is said to be extremely high. It can amplify both AC as well as DC input signals. Both can be amplified by making use of an operational amplifier. The first working, the integrated circuit op-amp, was developed by Robert Widler in the year 1960. And these op-amps will have many number of applications. To name a few of them are, they are used in the wave shaping, they are used in the conversion of analog to digital circuits, they are used in the generation of waveforms, they are used in the circuits which work as active filters, they are used in the oscillator circuits, they are used in the comparator circuits, regulator circuits, signal conditioning circuits, processing control, communications, they are used in the computers, they are used in the power and signal source, display devices, etc. These operational amplifiers will have many number of applications. So coming to the block diagram, this represents the block diagram of an operational amplifier. As I said, it has two inputs. These two are the input terminals. One is the inverting input and the other is non-inverting input. These inputs are having very high impedance and the output terminal is having very low impedance. And this is the integrated circuit of the operational amplifier, which consists of differential amplifiers, the drivers, emitter followers, etc. And this is the feedback network, negative feedback. Feedback is applying to the inverting terminal. So next, this represents the actual integrated circuit op-amp. It is a 741CN. We have different types of operational amplifiers, among which 741CN is mostly used. C represents the commercial operational amplifier. It consists of 8 pins, 4 pins on one side and 4 pins on the opposite side of the operational amplifier, and it is numbered like this. It is numbered like this. This pin represents 1, this is 2, this is 3, 4. On the other side, it continues 5, 6, 7, and last one is 8, right? And it is shown like this, the block diagram of this op amp consisting of 4 terminals on one side and the other 4 terminals on the opposite side. This is IC 741, and the first is offset null. Second one is the input terminal which is inverting. Third pin represents the non-inverting input. So the inputs are given to the pin number 2 and 3, whereas the fourth terminal is the negative of the external source. Again, fifth is offset null. Across the sixth terminal, across the sixth pin, we get the output. Seventh pin is connected to the positive of the external source, and eighth terminal is again the null one. Now, this diagram represents the internal circuit of the 741 op amp IC. We have seen the op amp IC, which looks very small, consisting of 8 pins, and within which it will have many number of transistors, resistors, capacitors, etc. Large number of, so it is called the integrated circuit. Integrated, consisting of many number of resistors, transistors, capacitors, etc. Having both PNP as well as the NPN transistors. They are assembled in such a small pin, such a small sized one. So it is called the integrated circuit. Now, schematic symbol of operational amplifier. Schematic symbol. As I said, pin 2 is to the inverting terminal, the inverting input terminal. Pin 3 represents the non-inverting input terminal, pin 3. Pin 6 gives the output terminal, and pin 4 is connected to the negative of the external source, and pin 7 is connected to the positive of the external source. And this is the schematic representation of the operational amplifier. Operational amplifier is represented in this fashion: a triangle with 3 terminals or with 5 terminals, 2 connected to the input, 1 is for the output, and the other 2 on the opposite sides are for the external source. This represents the schematic symbol of operational amplifier. So coming to the characteristics of operational amplifier, we are comparing the ideal operational amplifier with that of the commercially used operational amplifier, that is IC741C. We are comparing the characteristics. So we will have around 12 characteristics here, and each characteristic will have a parameter. So coming to the first one, we have open loop voltage gain. Open loop voltage gain is represented by the symbol A. If the operational amplifier is ideal, this value should be infinite, but in IC741 it will be 2 into 10 power 5, larger value. The input impedance is represented by Zi, and for an ideal op amp its value will be infinite, whereas for the IC741 it is 2 into 10 power 6 ohm, 2 mega ohm. The third characteristic is the output impedance, represented by ZO, whose value should be equal to 0 for the ideal op amp, but for the IC741 it is 75 ohm. So coming to the input offset voltage, the input offset voltage is represented by VIO. For the ideal one, its value is 0, it should be 0, but for IC 741, it is 5 millivolt. Next one is the input offset current represented by IIO, whose value should be 0 for the ideal one, and for the IC 741 it is 200 nano ampere. For IC 741 it is 200 nano ampere, very small. The input bias current represented by the symbol IB, again its value should be 0 for the ideal one, but for IC 741 it is 500 nano ampere. So coming to the bandwidth, the ideal op-amp should have a bandwidth of infinite, but for IC 741 its value is 1 megahertz. And the next characteristic is the common mode rejection ratio represented by the symbol rho, and the CMRR is infinite for the ideal op-amp, whereas for IC 741 it is 90 decibel. Next one is the power supply rejection ratio represented by PSRR, and it will be 0 for the ideal op-amp and 150 microvolt per volt for the IC 741 op-amp. The input offset current drift does not have any symbol, and it should have 0 for ideal and 0.1 nanoampere per degree Celsius for the 741 IC, whereas the input offset voltage drift is again 0 for ideal one, whereas it is 1 microvolt per degree Celsius for the 741 op-amp. And finally, the slew rate represented by the symbol S, and it is infinite for the ideal op-amp and 0.5 volt per microsecond for IC 741 op-amp. This is about the characteristics of ideal op-amp with reference to the IC 741 op-amp, or characteristics of IC 741 with reference to the ideal one. Now, let us discuss the open loop configuration of op-amp. What is the meaning of open loop configuration of the operational amplifier? So coming to the open loop configuration, if the op-amp indicates there is no connection between input and output terminals, then it is said to be in the open loop configuration. There is no connection between either this way or this way, right? Either to the inverting or to the non-inverting from the output. If there is a connection from the output either to the inverting input terminal or to the non-inverting input terminal, then it is said to be closed loop configuration. If there is no such connection from output to either of the input terminal, then it is said to be in open loop configuration. Said to be in open loop configuration. In open loop configuration, the op-amp will have a very high gain. The gain of the operational amplifier in open loop configuration will be high, and that open loop voltage gain is defined as the ratio of output voltage to the input voltage without any feedback. The ratio of output voltage, that is VO by VI without any feedback, is called open loop gain, that is AOL. AOL represents open loop gain. The ratio of output voltage to the input voltage without any feedback, or the feedback path is kept open. Right? Now, the output voltage therefore VO is equal to AOL into VI. AOL into VI or VID. That will be equal to AOL into, in case of VI or VID, it is V1 minus V2. This difference, this is VID, this is VO. The difference of the voltages across these two terminals, that is inverting and non-inverting, or pins 2 and 3, gives VID. Therefore, VID is V1 minus V2. And we have plotted VID against VO. VID is taken along x-axis, so you can see here, VO is taken along y-axis. We have plotted a graph, and the variation of VO versus VID is a straight line that is linear, slope of which gives the open loop gain, AOL, open loop gain. And this op-amp from point A to point B will be linear, and this is for the small range of input signal, for the small range of this VID. If VID is increased beyond B in positive direction or beyond A in the negative direction, then this variation will not remain as linear. It gets saturated and moves parallel to x-axis. It gets saturated. Right? This is about the open loop configuration of the operational amplifier. It will have certain limitations. The range is very small. Beyond that VID, it gets saturated, VO gets saturated due to the high open loop gain. The op-amp either shows plus VSAT or minus VSAT level for higher VID values, for higher input voltages, because of which the operational amplifier is said to act as a switch, is said to work as a switch. And this open loop behavior of the operational amplifier will have limited number of applications, will have few number of applications. The gain bandwidth product, or the gain bandwidth, or otherwise known as the unity gain bandwidth of such an operational amplifier is equal to 1. The frequency response of IC741 op-amp is as shown, and the frequency of unit gain bandwidth operational amplifier will be nearly equal to 1 megahertz for IC741 op-amp, and the cutoff frequency will be AOL into FC. FC is the cutoff frequency. Now we have the common mode rejection ratio, CMRR, represented by the symbol ρ. It is the ability of the differential amplifier to reject common mode signals. In other words, to reject the unwanted signals. It is defined as the ratio of differential mode, otherwise known as open loop gain to the common mode gain. It is the ratio of differential voltage gain to the common mode voltage gain, or it is open loop voltage gain to the common mode voltage gain, represented by the symbol AD by ACM. D represents differential, or that will be equal to AOL by ACM. OL represents open loop, CM represents the common mode. Or it can be shown that CMRR is rho, that is equal to 20 log AOL to ACM to base 10, and that will be in decibel. And the common mode gain of operational amplifier ACM is the ratio of the output voltage to the input voltage. The ratio of output voltage to the input voltage in common mode is called the common mode gain, common mode voltage gain. Larger the value of CMRR, better is the differential amplifier to eliminate the common mode signals or unwanted noise. The ideal differential amplifier will have the CMRR equal to infinity, But you can see here for operational amplifier 741 I say the CMRR is 90 decibel, for IC 741. So coming to the slew rate. Slew rate of an op-amp is the maximum rate at which the output voltage can change. The maximum rate at which output voltage can change is represented by this, that is delta V naught by dt or dV naught by dt, the rate of change of the output voltage. The maximum rate of change of output voltage is called the slew rate, measured in volt per microsecond. For the op-amp, the slew rate is fixed. For IC 741, it is 0.5 volt per microsecond. But for the ideal one, its value is infinite. This means to say that 1 microsecond is required for the output to change by 0.5 volt. In order to change 0.5 volt of the output voltage, it takes a time of just 1 microsecond. Within 1 microsecond, the output changes by 0.5 volt. And this is for the IC 741. Coming to the concept of virtual ground. Virtual ground is nothing but a node which is having zero voltage with reference to the ground, but it is not mechanically grounded. In the circuit diagram given below, G represents one such point. G represents virtual ground, which is having, G is a node, G is a point or node where the voltage is zero, but it is not externally grounded. External ground idill, but with reference to ground point, if we measure the voltage at point G, its voltage will be zero. Therefore, such a node or such a point is called virtual ground. And this virtual ground does not provide a path for the flow of current. And such a node will always have zero voltage with reference to the ground. But because of which all the current passes through the feedback resistor. This is the feedback resistor. All the current passes through this feedback resistor. Because of this virtual ground, this feedback resistor will be parallel to this load resistor. Therefore, voltage across the load resistor will be equal to voltage across the feedback resistor. When they are parallel, the voltages across each resistor will be same. Therefore, voltage across the load resistor will be equal to voltage across the feedback resistor. Therefore, from Ohm's law, voltage across the load resistor is nothing but V out, that is equal to Vf and Vf is equal to If into Rf or Ii into Rf. Ii is the input current or I naught is the input current. I naught or Ii, one and the same. The input current. It is Ii into Rf. So therefore this should be Ii. This is Ii. Ii into Rf is the output voltage. This is about the concept of virtual ground. Thank you.